Hello and welcome to a book review. Now this is a ARC review, so there's going to be no spoilers. It's also a little bit different. So this is an ARC review of an anthology. There are 6 novellas in this anthology and they're all by different authors, and it was one of those authors who messaged me on Instagram because I have read his books before. I love his books. They're down on my shelf. And he messaged me on Instagram and asked if I thought that this type of thing would be up my alley. There was no blurb at the time, so I didn't say it's dark fantasy to me, and there's one gothic gritty twist, and I am right there. So by the time this goes up, I think the cover will be revealed. At the minute, we don't have a cover reveal because it's all kept very hush-hush. Now this is an add-on to the video that's just been going, and they have just released what the cover is going to look like, which is here. Look at that cover. That cover is amazing. I got the message on Instagram. I said, hell yes, sign me up. Don't look at these, but sign me up for another one. And it came down on the 10th of September, and I was in Greece, perfectly positioned to just read all damn day, which I did. You couldn't talk about it. It's not on Goodreads yet. There is a Kickstarter surrounding it. We can start talking about it from the 7th of October. And the Kickstarter, I think, launches a few days after that. So I will be promoting it across my socials because I really enjoyed my time with this again. So one of the things about this arc is that once you've read it, this is the first arc that I have read that I know has been not exactly watermarked, but they know that the arc that I downloaded is mine. It's got my email address on it, on every chapter, on every story. Authors are having to do this because people pirate stuff, and people just chuck stuff online and think it's all right to pirate another author's work. And it's not. You can't run it through AI. It's not ethical. You shouldn't pirate books. It's unethical, and not to mention illegal. Anyway, I shall step down from my soapbox and get on with the review. So part of the ARC review is that we can write blurbs for it, send it in, and they'll have a whole host of stuff to choose from, and they'll pick and choose for the Kickstarter how they're going to promote it. So because we don't have a blurb, I'm just going to read what I wrote. So by the time this comes out, it'll probably have a different blurb, but this is the one I wrote and we're going to go with it. So this anthology is called Ethos by the Arcanist Guild, and the Arcanist Guild comprises of 6 different authors for each of the 6 novellas. So I'm going to read this. An idea, one that spreads and takes root, is a dangerous thing. It can corrupt, betray, mislead. Reality warps under the weight of an idea firmly planted. Cultures and countries descend and die because of ideas. Those simple philosophies become gods. They become an ethos. Now that part they wrote. I have it in bold. Presented by the Arcanist Guild are 6 dark fantasy novellas, each leading the reader by the hand down darker and darker trails. In a quiet little hamlet, a 3-headed demonic creature terrorizes the people who dwell in the shadow of a forest. A warrior is sent to subdue a fellow friend, but finds that rumours are more often than not based in truth. Outside a monastery, plague-ravaged demons stalk the land, and fire is the only thing that can cleanse. A boat and crew sets out under cover of darkness, searching for a cure to mend their country and the people in it. An acolyte dreams of immortality shadowed by the Black Tower. 2 sisters are at odds in an underwater realm which is slowly decaying. But can one reckless decision alter fate? This anthology of dark, gritty fantasy tales is mesmerising for the imagination. But reader beware. Once you're in the dark of the forest, well, anything could be lurking. I wrote that bit. But yeah, because it's an anthology, we can't, or I can't do the usual structure I do with ARC reads, which is go through the plot, the characters, and what I thought with no spoilers. Because it's an anthology, I'm just going to do a little snippet about each story with no spoilers on any of them. And then you're going to get my roundup thoughts at the end. So let's get into it. So the first story was Every Man for Himself by E.J. Doble. This follows Kirk, and he is what is called a fate write. And he accepts a contract to investigate and rid the world of a beast currently terrorizing a hamlet, as big beasties I want to do. Now, as a fate write, he has to keep himself worthy and not be beholden to anything or anyone, as that would make him unworthy and strip him of his magic and his immortality, which means everything to him. And this worthy, unworthy discussion that he has in his head, it almost feels like a type of religious zeal. He's not exactly a likable character, but you kind of get along, you get to know his motivations. And when the big beastie comes out of the forest, it does lead to quite an epic conclusion, even for a novella. I enjoyed reading it. I really, really liked it. I would read more of that. Now, the next one is called One Matters Not by James Doolin. And we follow a character called Ashel, and she is collecting children, which I know sounds awful, but it's for a purpose. Because these children have been what they call fate touched. And she is bringing them back to this kind of like Motte and Bailey castle to serve the Icon Order. I think it's Icon, it could be Icon, and my Kindle's dead, so I can't go and have a look. Now, once she's arrived and she hands over her charges, she gets pulled up to not the head of the order, but the sort of the upper management. And believe me, they talk like upper management as well. You know, a kind of meeting that could have been an email, which the character agrees with, because they set her a task of having to go after her erstwhile friend and colleague, and who has abandoned the order, killing 2 people in the process, and anyone that they've sent after to retrieve him, they're just missing. And I devoured this story. I got to, and it ended, and where it ended, I was like, no, I thought I was reading, I was in it. It is action-packed, it has monsters, and it has really, really good banter between the characters. And as I got to where it ends and the next story begins, and I was like, where's the rest of it? I would read a full-blown book of this. I forgot I was reading an anthology. I was just happily, merrily turning pages, and boom, it was over, and I was bereft. So after I've recorded this, I'm going to go and look on Goodreads to see what else this author has written, because I want it to be part of a bigger series, or I want it to be a series. I want to read more of it. You can get the gist that I liked it. Now, the next story is called The Lies of Zendis. I hope I said that right. By Jonathan Mayers. And this is another one where I got to the end of it and I was like, where's the rest of it? We are with a character called Jamal, who is getting ready to embark on a very, very dangerous journey across what they call the Fracture, which is a gigantic big open expanse of water with anything in the depths. And this fracture separates two land masses, one called the continent and one called the realm. And these used to be together until the fracture came down the middle because gods were having a hissy fit and it fractured. Now, the realm has its lights, it's beautiful, it is just educated, it's everything where people can aspire to be something, as malicious as its underbelly is. The continent, however, are the poor relation, because all the bright sparks ended up over here, and they don't have much food, it's quite agricultural, but there's no agriculture. It's just, and anybody that tries from here to go there gets bye-bye, because these have the magic. And Jamal and his motley crew of friends intend, under cover of darkness, to cross the fracture, slip into the realm, steal some of the magic, and then slip out across the fracture back to the continent where they can try and make things better. I was hooked. I was absolutely hooked, and I want more of it. The whole snapshot into the history of how this was created, the whole political sort of maneuverings, that even when it's a novella was like shining through, and I really, really wanted to know more of that. I would love a bigger book. I mean, I keep saying I want bigger books of stuff, just like authors are just sitting around poised with pens and not doing anything until people say that they want a bigger book of something. I know that's not how it works, but it doesn't stop me wanting. Now, the next one up is called Ascension by Morgan Shank, and this one, it felt shorter than the other ones, but it was no less interesting. So we are with the character of Gozan, and he has just one goal in mind: achieving immortality. I wouldn't mind being immortal. I could maybe finally get through all the books I want to read. Now, to achieve this, and the group of people, and 2 dragons, mind you, he's with, have to journey to the Black Tower. They only have a set time to do this. It's like before the sun sets, and it's getting on. And he is determined to get there, no matter the cost. But there are things along the way that distract his attention. It's quite up in the air whether he gets there or not. And I really, really liked it. I was along for the journey. And when things progressed, I was like, what are you doing? But I enjoyed it. The next one is called From the Heart of the Sea by Bethany Garcia. And I really like this one. All year I've been saying that this year all I want to read is pirates and sirens and mermaids and sea and antics on the waves. And I got this with antics underneath the waves, so you better believe I was psyched. So we are in the point of view of 2 sisters, Aranel and Selin. And they have very different characteristics, and they have very different outlooks, and they have different sort of career paths. And in this sort of underwater kingdom where they are, where once there was peace and serenity, there's now decay, discord, and mounting resentment. Where Aranel is calm, collected, focused, and she wants to wait for the elected council to make the decision on what goes forward given what they find. Whereas her sister, Selin, sees all this decay, sees what it's doing, it is very dangerous, and things have to be stopped quite quickly, and she gets incredibly frustrated, as I did when reading it, that the council is dragging their heels. They're unwilling to change the way they do things because what they do has always worked. And the differing points of view are quite stark, but you understand both sides, which is very, very good to do. And one of them ends up making an incredibly reckless decision, which just sends shockwaves, no pun intended, throughout everywhere around them. And things change. Now, this last story is how I got into the anthology in the first place, is Phantasm by Benjamin Averin. Now, you will know, if you've watched this channel, if you watched a lot of my ARC reviews, I'll put the playlist up somewhere as well, that I have, five of his books I have read. Alright, one's a novella. So let's see, four of his books have been ARCs, and I have 5-starred the lot of them. So that is what got me into reading this. But Phantasm, we are with Brother Geneth, and he is a monk or an acolyte in this gigantic big gothic monastery that is safe, except they have to keep drinking wine. I mean, it's always good for you. But outside of this monastery, the land is plague ravaged with demons. Demons are cavorting about the place because the plague has done something to the people and turned them into these demons that wear people's faces and get you and rip you apart. There's these books, these stories do get quite graphic. And of course, the only thing to get rid of demons and keep with like religious teachings is kill it with fire. Fire cleanses everything. And that's what they use. They use cleansing fire on anything, and they have demons burned at the stake. I really enjoyed it. I was reading it. I was like, and then it got to the end and I was done with the whole thing. And I was like, why can it not go, just keep going? But I really enjoyed it. And now I always say that no anthology will ever get 5 stars. And it doesn't. Because an anthology with 5 stars, it has, even like a book with 5 stars, it has to make me feel a type of way. Now, I would say the rating that I would give this book is a 4.5. Because I can't like everything in a book. If every story in this was 5 stars, it would have been a 5-star read, but it wasn't. A few were 4. Which isn't bad, but it does mean that the overall score collectively is a 4.5 and not a 5. But regardless, I can't wait for this coming out. I am going to buy it. I am going to have a look at the Kickstarter. I'm going to see what comes out. I'm going to see how much it is because I have to be good. If you like dark fantasy, if you like different anthologies, I would highly recommend this one. It's by authors, only one I have read before, and at least 2 of them I am going to go see what else they've written so that I can read them as well. But yeah, I really liked this. I am so happy that I was selected to read it as an ARC read, and I would recommend it when it comes out. Just absolutely. If you don't follow me on Instagram, follow me on Instagram. The link down in the description below, because that is where I will put when things like this are published, and you can get them too. Because we are all about sharing the love of different stories, and if you have any recommendations for me, put them down in the description below. I will have a look at them. If you like this, let me know your thoughts down in the description below. And remember to like this video, subscribe to my channel because it all helps me in the algorithm. And as always, keep reading.